4 tricky things men do to test you. In this video, you will discover what is actually normal for a man to do to actually see if you are the right fit, how are you responding to his world, versus you actually thinking that he's not interested in you. I'm, of course, your host, Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And look, this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want desires and, yes, pursues you forever. Now, of course, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click the subscribe button below and also hit that bell so you get notified for more juicy videos coming your way. So let's dive right into the 4 tricky things men do to test you. Number 4, and this has happened to me in the beginning stages of dating my husband, is his cell phone won't work. Now, by the way, some of the things I describe here are not intentional by the man. So in other words, a lot of tests actually turn out to be tests in the aftermath, right? So they're not premeditated. So I do want to emphasize that this is not a manipulative tactic that men use, but rather after your response, that will tell them a lot about what's happening. So what happens is when his cell phone won't work, right? He unconsciously will actually see, well, for one, how secure are you? How much are you going to like call him, text him, get angry, right? Like start blaming him. How secure are you inside of yourself? And this is particularly important for a man to know, do I have my independence? Do I also have my space with this woman? Or is she freaking out when I take some space? And this is, of course, really important because like otherwise he can't really trust you and he's going to start to feel suffocated. And of course, my husband actually explained that to me afterwards. That he's like, oh, like, yeah, that was what a test that I didn't even know was a test, was actually seeing like, wow, okay, how are you responding? Are you getting like super upset? Or are you going to be relatively easygoing about it? So be mindful of that. Of course, I'm not saying when he has his phone turned off all the time. I have other videos on that, like how to know you're falling for a player. But I'm talking, this has never really happened. And it happened, right? It could be an indication, especially when you're in like a couple of weeks of dating, maybe a month or two, right? That's when those things start to happen. And that's when we start to really sabotage the relationship and can spiral down really fast. So watch out for that. Number 3, he oversteps boundaries. Now, one of your boundaries could, for example, be maybe you're really private. Maybe you have like your own life that you keep to yourself and you maybe shared with your boyfriend, your partner, the date that you're going on dates with. But you know, you don't expect him to, let's say, share it with everyone else. So for you, that may be actually, wow, he really overstepped the boundary, right? He really, wow, that was really not okay. Or maybe he oversteps a boundary and reacts in a way that you don't really feel like is appropriate. Now, the interesting part is men have different aspects, different archetypes inside of themselves. And one is the little boy. So the little boy is actually looking, can I get away with the cookie? Right? Are you going to set boundaries? And again, this is unconscious. This is not always conscious, right? And so he almost like expects you to set boundaries. As an example, when I was dating a guy, when I was like 22 or 23, somewhere around there, he actually tested me. Like he overstepped boundaries and he expected me to set the boundaries, which I didn't. And then in the end, when he actually quote unquote broke up with me, because as you know, my longest relationship was 2.5 months, so you can't really call it a relationship. He actually said, like, why did you not honor yourself? Like, why did you not respect yourself? Why did you not set boundaries? It was not okay for me to talk to you this way. So keep that in mind and honor yourself. Now, of course, if you like this content, then go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share with your girlfriends, and subscribe. Now, this is also a really big one. Number 2 is he teases you. So this is, okay, I know what you want to say, because you want to say, Antia, isn't that also a sign of a narcissist? Because he wants to actually, he's kind of like sarcastic. He's already starting to become condescending, disrespectful. Again, so I'm not talking about if this is a regular behavior, but I'm talking about he just did that, right? And it's normally not like what he normally does. So when he teases you, he actually kind of wants to see, how serious are you taking yourself, right? Can you have a little bit of fun? Can you be flexible? Because remember, we have the different archetypes inside of ourselves. So he's really saying, how big is your emotional range? Can you hang with his humor, right? Can you bounce off his humor? And it was funny because when I started dating my husband, I tested him, which is kind of funny. I should do a video on that too, how women actually test men. But I didn't, so many expressions I didn't know in English. Like, so I would just like make up some funny phrases. I would translate them from German into English, which is really, really funny. And it was almost like a test to see, like, is he gonna say I'm weird, I'm crazy? And he actually totally he just went up me. You know what I mean? He just like added on to it. In improv, we call that the yes and philosophy, right? So yes, I don't understand what you just said, and we're also riding on a unicorn. And so again, it shows like this flexibility. How rigid are you, right? Can you let go? Can you let loose? So that's pretty important to a man, especially when he looks at potentially having you as a long-term partner or girlfriend. And if you want to learn more about that, join our free Magnetize Your Man Facebook group. mymfbgroup.com is your golden ticket right there to join over 7,000 women to discuss those kind of topics. Now, number one, he puts you in unknown territory. Now, of course, he kind of wants to see, how are you handling yourself, right? And this could go for anywhere from taking you on a weekend trip to actually see how are you dealing with the unexpected, right? What are you actually doing when you maybe don't get to that destination that you thought you would get to? Or maybe he exposes you to his friends, his family, and actually sees like, okay, how well are you holding yourself, right? And so this is pretty important for him to know, because I heard one story of a dear friend of mine, and he actually took his wife now, right, on a trip, and he got totally lost. Totally, they wanted to go somewhere else. He totally got lost, and he was like, "Oh, great, she's totally gonna rip me in pieces now. She's totally gonna emasculate me. She's gonna be like, what an idiot are you? Can you read a map?" And she just said, "Well, it's just such a great place. This is where we're going to watch the sunset now." And in that moment, he knew that he's going to marry her, right? Because like challenges are going to happen in life, right? Like adversities are going to happen in life, but how do you handle that? That's going to be really important for him to see. Are you holding him completely accountable and responsible for everything and blame him for everything? Or are you actually a team player and a partner? So if you want to learn more where you stand with all of that, take my free Magnetize Your Man quiz at mymquiz.com. And if you haven't watched it already, when a man deeply loves you, he will start saying these 5 things. Ladies, this is it for today. Much love to you, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.